I've stumbled upon an article that was written by one of my colleagues, Alma Okule, very brilliant, doctor. I got to know Alma when I was in medical school, so she's my junior colleague. Very smart lady, very driven, and she has a lot of interest in politics. So she engaged with politics as a student, and I knew that she engaged in politics during my during my residency, in Nigeria when she was a house officer. Very clever girl, clever lady. Very sorry. So I stumbled upon this article which she's just recently written on her experience of struggling through life, essentially trying to prove that she is good enough, that she's worthy enough. Just recently, we congratulated her earlier this year when she marched into a residency program in the United States. We, congratulated her personally. I reached out and said, "Congratulations! I'm proud of you," because I'm truly proud of her and all she's achieved. So reading through this article actually was a mixed feeling. I would say I was surprised, and at the same time I wasn't surprised because I have gone through similar emotions myself. I did the USMLE steps 1 and 2 CK in 2021. I never applied for matching because I've always had skepticisms. Am I doing what I really want to do, or am I doing what I believe would elevate my status as a smart person, if you know what I mean? So I just screenshot a few parts. I wouldn't want to go through it. It would be very unfair for me to go through her entire article on my YouTube page. So what I've decided to do is I've just screenshot a few parts of that article. I will leave the link to the article. It's a very well composed, she really, puts out her thoughts into this article. I enjoy you to really read it. I believe your life wouldn't be the same. Your life will be positively influenced and touched when you read this article. It will resonate with you. It may resonate with you if you've gone through similar emotions in your life. So I'll just read a few parts that I screenshot. The beginning, she said, "My whole life, I've been driven by a singular focus to succeed. But now, as I stare into the abyss of uncertainty, I wonder if that focus has been my greatest curse. I've always heard the term identity crisis thrown around, but only now do I understand what it truly feels like." Identity crisis is something that is common amongst doctors. A lot of doctors. Just recently, there was a video of a neurosurgeon, a United States trained neurosurgeon who had practiced for over 10 years and he quit. If you go on YouTube, the video is everywhere. He quit neurosurgery, and he explained reasons behind that. And if you watch that video, you will notice his face he wasn't excited telling that story. He appeared sad. Possibly he could be depressed. When I watched it, I felt he was possibly depressed. I watched it with my wife. We're like, he doesn't look happy. Probably he looks troubled. He might be going through depression. That was our impression. We may be wrong, but that's what we felt watching his video. So Alma has explained how she's come to this point of, identity crisis. All she's achieved, all the lofty things, laudable things she's achieved, have they really gotten her to where she wants to be? Another part of screenshot says, ironically, getting through med school was the easy part. Choosing a specialty choice and getting into postgraduate medical training didn't, and rather hasn't gone as I expected. I wanted to train under the best of the best in the most powerful country in the world. You guessed it, the United States of America. So I embarked on the journey of sitting for the USMLE exams and applying for the ERAS. I successfully marched into residency, but life happened. At least I would like to think of it that way. So yeah, best of the best, United States. That's what we think. Most doctors think if you're not in the United States, you're not good enough, or you've not achieved the perfect dream of being a doctor. I think it's a fallacy, something that a lot of doctors globally have so imbibed. Is a fallacy, or I think is a fallacy that has been sold to the world by the United States, as the best part of the world, the American dream. If you're not in the US, you're missing out, you've not achieved all you can potentially achieve. And obviously, because as doctors, we think that we are conditioned to think that when we go through something that is really difficult and we emerge successful, then we've won. Then we've proven to the world that we are strong, we are brave, we're intelligent. And a lot of us want to go through that process to prove to both ourselves and the world that we are the best. If you've ever gone through the USMLE, you understand that it's a crazy exam. Step 1 is 8 hours, step 2 is 9 hours, step 3 is 2 days. Like, these are crazy exams that can drive you insane, to be honest. And then another part I screenshot, she said, if I'm being totally honest with myself, I will tell myself that this whole USMLE journey started off as a means to prove something to myself and to those around me. Exactly. I got through medical school always feeling like I was at the bottom of the food chain. And so achieving a feat as daring as acing the USMLE and then marching into residency felt like something I needed to do to redeem myself, to prove to myself that I was still that little girl with big dreams, and who could damn well have anything she set her heart to achieve. So, exactly. Personally, I started off as a registrar or junior registrar in surgery in Nigeria before coming to the UK. But before I left the UK, I realized that I really didn't want to do surgery. I personally went into surgery because that's how we're conditioned. As a man, or as a male physician, or a male medical student who was one of the top performers in his class, it was just expected that you become a surgeon. A lot of people called you surgeon. Oh, surgeon as a nickname, they just called you surgeon because the expectation was that if you're a man or a male medical student and you're one of the best performing, students in your class, it doesn't mean you're the most intelligent, but you're one of the most one of the best performers. Then people just assumed this person is supposed to be a surgeon, and many of us carry that mentality and went into surgical training. But then I realized, even before going into training, that I enjoyed clinic-based kind of medical practice, like general practice, being in the clinic. But whenever it was time to go into theater, I always felt stressed. I always felt like, really dragging my feet. I enjoyed the process of operating itself, but the whole, process of doing a surgery, the pre-op, the post-op, I found all of that stressful. And I just knew that if I had gone on to become a surgeon, very likely I'd have been a miserable surgeon. That's what I think. So I'm happy I actually didn't proceed. So sometimes it's good to be able to realize that you possibly are on the wrong path. You're doing things because that's what society has conditioned you to believe. And then the last part I screenshot, Alma has said. She said, I think at the root of it all, I'm really just scared. So she's scared. Scared to be seen as mediocre or not enough. Scared to be at the bottom of the food chain. Scared to be overlooked. Scared to be taken advantage of. But if there's anything this experience has taught me, is that it's perfectly okay to want more for myself and keep wanting more for myself, but it's also okay to rest and mourn the loss of something I've worked so hard for. So I really don't know why she hasn't moved to the US. I mean, she's marched, into her residencies. I don't know the details, whether she's probably changed her mind as regards this choice of specialty, or if she doesn't want to move to the US anymore, or if there was, probably delays with getting her visa. Some people marched, but they couldn't get their visa. and so they probably have to wait another year before they can, begin their residency. Some even have to reapply for matching all over again. Thankfully, they wouldn't have to do the exams again, but they have to go through the match process. So I don't really know the details of what's delaying Alma, but I feel really proud of her. That's what I just want to say. Like, for her to have come to this point of being able to reflect and put her thoughts, beautifully compose her thoughts in writing. You need to really read. I'll leave the link. You need to go and read the details of what she's written and how she's expressed her thoughts, regarding all of these. So I'm really proud of you, Alma. I just want you to know that most of us are proud of you, and you're not alone in this journey, the way you feel. Most of us have felt it. Some of us even still continue to feel it. But it's a beautiful point to be able to realize that you might probably not be doing the best thing for your life, for yourself. Sometimes we need to pause, think, reflect, and realize that we probably may be doing things that might be feeding our ego, rather than things that will actually bring us peace, joy, and happiness. So I wish you all the best, Alma, as you figure out what you really want to do, and as you pursue the future that is before you. I really wish you the best. I'm really proud of you. That was the first thing I said to myself after reading your article. I said, I'm proud of you, Alma. I am very proud of you, and I'm happy that you got to this point. I wish you all the best.